Okay, hi. Oh my God, I'm full of beans. I'm full of jelly beans today. I don't know about you, but in the years since the pandemic, I've had a fucking time. I actually probably can't say that because I'll get demonetized. The late 20s has kicked my butt. But the good thing about going through weird, hard things is that you learn a lot. So let's talk about them. The things I've learned in the past few years, and hopefully I can impart my wisdom. And if you are in your early or mid 20s, I really hope that this helps. The first thing I've realized, and it was a painful but relieving realization, is that there's always someone who did it younger than you. But there's also always someone who is older than you that wish they'd started at your age. You would not believe how many people tell me, oh my God, I wish I jumped on the internet thing when I was, the age that you were when you started. But there's people absolutely killing it who started when they were 30 or 35 or 40. Age is not a barrier for the thing you want to do. Life situations are the barrier for the things you want to do. So don't wait. I had this really bleak phase when I was like between 24 and 26 where I thought I was too old to do anything new because my time had passed. You were only going to work with people who were like 30 under 30 vibe, even though I was still very much under 30. I had that real youth success thing, and I think probably because I experienced a level of success when I was young, and all it did was delay me in starting the work and pursuing the things I wanted to pursue. It just stopped me. It paralyzed me out of fear, and that is the silliest reason to not do something. I grew up in such a defeatist mindset. I was always looking for the 13 reasons why I couldn't do something, and I think it was a self-protection thing. I think I wanted to feel safe, but that is a bad way to live your life, in my opinion. Your life will be very small if you act on the 15 reasons not to do something over the 5 reasons to do something. I could have benefited so much from hearing that at like 22, 23 years old. In the words of Joe from Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement, the brave may not live forever, but the cautious may not live at all. Old ways won't open new doors. The next piece of advice was a passing comment made in conversation earlier this year, and it hit me in my chest. It was a very sudden, very real reality check. I was chatting with a group of friends who are sober, and one of my friends had just quit drinking and was saying, oh, I just need to quit smoking as well. Like, I need to quit sugar. And my friend turned to him really calmly and said, shoot that alligator closest to the boat. And the number of times I've repeated that phrase since I heard it, you don't want to know. Because it's true. Sometimes we want to tackle our whole problem at once and it's just ridiculous. And when you do that, ultimately stuff is going to go wrong. So shoot the alligator closest to the boat, deal with the problem at hand. The other ones can be dealt with later down the line. And that also helps me so much when I'm trying to get to sleep at night. I used to really washing machine head like all of the things that I needed to do tomorrow, but also the next week and the next week, and maybe that month as well. And then I realized, well, I can't do anything about it while I'm in bed. Let's just focus on trying to get some sleep, some rest, so that I can show up as best I can the next day. And also your life's always gonna have problems in it. Like, problems don't go away. You never have a period in your life where you are problem free. And if you do, congrats. I have yet to experience that. But it's about manageability, and your mindset is the key to starting to work on those problems if they're workable, or accepting those problems if they're not workable. And then sometimes, like buses, things come in threes. Sometimes you've got a lot of issues to deal with at once, but shoot that alligator closest to the boat. The next one is on resentment. Another cute little phrase for you that I learned earlier this year that has absolutely blown my mind is resentment is like drinking the poison and hoping that the other person dies. I just wished I could like reverse and not hear that. But it's true, resentment eats you up. Resentment doesn't eat the person you're resentful at up. It doesn't make other people feel bad. It only makes you feel bad. And the sooner that you can work out a way of processing your resentment or your hurt or your anger at someone and freeing yourself from it, the better you will feel. None of those feelings actually affect the other person. Even if you are acting on them, they're probably affecting you more than they're affecting that person. So it's not saying like just forget about everything, like get over it. It's working out how to make peace with stuff. That is what will actually give you the key to like mental freedom in your relationships as you get further into life. Before we move on, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace, for making this video possible. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. I've had my site on Squarespace for over a year now, and it's been the easiest thing to set up and operate. Operate makes it sound so much more work than it is. It is so chilled out. And if you're building your first site now, it's even easier with Fluid Engine. It's the next generation website design system built by Squarespace. And it makes it effortless. You start with a great template and you build from there. And there's so much functionality built into Squarespace sites. For example, I have an online store where I sell my Lightroom presets. I also have a blog, which I use all the time. I'm always sharing like outfit links, roundups. It's so easy. And they have so many more features for whatever kind of business you are running, including stuff like appointments, and they have a great analytics suite. If you're thinking about launching your first website or domain, do not wait. I have a discount code for 10% off if you use the code LucyMoon at checkout or go to squarespace.com/LucyMoon. So I'll leave that link in the description, and thank you so much, Squarespace, for working with me on this video. The next piece of advice I was given by my friend Fred. I wonder if it's actually still in the voice note that he sent it to me in. So Fred's one of my oldest friends. I've known him since I was 12. We haven't seen each other in a while, but we hung out for the first time in ages a few months ago. And I think I was just talking about finding people really cool and being intimidated by people, and just in general, like my self-esteem is really rocky at the moment. I'm more confident in my opinions than ever before, but my appearance and where I'm at in my life, I'm just so much less confident in than I used to be. My God, we're getting real. We're getting real. So we had a big chat about it, and a day later he sent me this.
I just wanted to share like a thing I always think about when I think like everyone's really cool, which is like coolness. You can think about coolness always like living in the ambiguities of like where you don't have the information, you don't have sufficient information. So you get a little bit of information about someone and then you fill in all the rest with like coolness. But in reality, no one's actually cool. Like when you get to know people.
I've thought about that voice note so many times since he sent it. And I realize that's what I'm doing. I fill in the blanks with coolness where coolness doesn't necessarily exist. And then as I get to know people, I realize that ultimately I might be a little bit misguided. Not in a negative way, just they are a full complex human with good bits, bad bits, and everything in the middle. And I had just filled it all in with mainly good bits. And that has been so soothing and relieving to hear. And I did it all the time, especially when I was younger. I used to meet people and just think they were so out of my league, and just think that they were so much more successful than me especially, and that they had all their shit together, that their life was really sorted. I would always have grass is greener syndrome. And this advice has been exactly what I needed, not just now, but I wish I could just tell my past self that as well. This hair always reminds me of Keira Knightley in Pride and Prejudice. I don't know why. I can't even remember if she does her hair like this. And a final bit of wisdom. Again, this one's kind of based around perfectionism. I feel like I've spoken about it a lot this year, but it's definitely something that's been on my mind, and rightfully so, because I'm trying to unpick it and get rid of it out of my life. But this was something I heard on TikTok. I'm like the best life advice curation service. I watched a video from Moltox, and in it they said that perfectionism is procrastination masquerading as quality control. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Get it in your head. Perfectionism is really just putting things off. It's just putting things off. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because it's fear of failure, ultimately, fear of lack of control, all of those things put into a nice little package. I did not start so many projects because of the fear of where they would end up. And I thought I could never do anything as good as the people I wanted to be like, so why even bother? That is the silliest mindset ever. And I am not proud to say I've done a lot of procrastinating in the past 8 years of my life. I have put things off, and now I feel like sometimes I'm sprinting to catch up. And also, ultimately, quality control is not done in the moment, so you just need to let that go. If you're trying to quality control in the moment, it's not gonna work because it hinders the process. I don't know if you've read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I'm reading it at the moment. I actually spoke about it in a recent video. It's so interesting. She talks about it as though it's basically the devil on your shoulder. The perfectionism is this angry man being like, no, you are terrible. And you just have to be like, turn around and go, shut up, and then it will be quiet. You have to acknowledge what it is. And oftentimes she says it comes from a parent or a teacher, or like it's the voice of an authority figure basically from when you were younger. And I can totally see that as well. For me it is, and I'm sure it might be for you. And once you realize the origin of that voice, that quality control voice, you are more able to kind of, again, unpick it, realize what it actually is and where it's coming from, and push it aside. You won't be able to get rid of the voice, but you'll be able to put it in its place. Maybe some people get rid of the voice, not me, but I'm working on it. I think those are my little seeds of wisdom today. I hope they've been helpful. Maybe this is the kick up the bum you needed. I hope it was. Thank you so much for watching. If you are in your early 20s, it really is the trenches. I am so sorry. But it is also the most beautiful, nourishing, character building part of your life. So embrace it in all of its messiness. Someday you will look back at your early 20s and wish you were back there. So just throw yourself at stuff. Go do the thing you've been putting off. Like, Go and try that thing. If something's not working for you, break it, because it is worth it. Ultimately, it makes your life more nourishing, more full, more well-rounded. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I'm kind of like a thoughtful lifestyle channel. I'm not really selling it, but I'm very good at premise. I love making vids. And thank you, Squarespace, for working with me on this video. Go to the link below to get 10% off your first website or domain. I will see you in my next video.